Welcome to What's Happening in Miami County. Here's your hosts, Don Smith and Bill Cartwright.
Hello, I'm Don Smith.
And I'm Bill Cartwright. Welcome to What's Happening in Miami County. Now, this show today is the 11th of September. And I just wanted to let you know that our next show is September 22nd, 24. And remember, it's on Channel 5 at 6 p.m. and on YouTube. And the schedule, we're going to do something a little different now because we're going to do it every second and fourth Wednesday of each month. So that way you know exactly when it's going to be. And like I said, 5 at 6 p.m.
We got an extra vacation last time because we had 3 weeks in between.
I know, that's why.
So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, that's why we're going to do that. So, so what do you got, Don?
Well, today being September 11th, of course, we all remember the tragedy in New York, and we would like to do a tribute to that. And so I will start that tribute with 23 years have gone by since the world witnessed not only death and destruction brought upon us all, whether we were in New York, Washington, Pennsylvania, or anywhere else in our country, we were all attacked that day.
We also must remember today the efforts of the police officers, firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, and volunteers who sacrificed themselves to save tens of thousands of people that fateful morning.
As the sun sets tonight, the tribute in light will again return to Manhattan skyline, memorializing the fallen towers of the World Trade Center.
So now let's pause for a moment of silence to honor those who sacrificed. Thank you. Well, Don, what have you been doing?
Well, we've been kind of busy. You know, there's always plenty of things to do. My wife tells me that retirement has kept me busier than when I was working. But we had a really great experience at our house in our family this past couple of weeks. My great-grandson was baptized out at the Valley Church.
Very
and that
good.
was a really important thing.
Yes.
And the whole family was there to celebrate with him on that great day.
Nice.
Now, we've had 2 Rotary Club meetings since the last thing, and that's all kind of exciting. We've had some really good speakers, Brad Zimmerman spoke yesterday about his new position at Lehman Catholic, so that it was just an interesting luncheon. Speaking of luncheon, I also had lunch with my brother, and something that really was nice this time is my nephew, his son, Alex, also came for lunch, and we went over to Greenville to a special place that my brother and I like, and we had lunch there. So that was kind of a nice thing to do. And then we had a meeting of the Parks Committee because we've been a little bit concerned, and you all watching the program maybe too, when you look at the hills going into Piqua on Route 36, the 2 sides. We've been working together with the city over the past several years to make sure that those hills are attractive. We have a little bit of problem with the grass, and we've been working on that. So I'm asking you all to stay tuned because we hope that it will continue to look better each year for the next several years. We're planting a new kind of grass. It takes a little while for it to get started. Weeds take over first, and then we have to kill the weeds. So it's a big deal. But we also Sue and I started back. We have Lynn Labs is a good friend of ours, and the 3 of us are writing a book. We're writing the book of what Sue and I went through during our catering years. We've got lots of neat stories, and we're trying to make it something that will be interesting to various generations, and also people who don't even know us can read and see what it was like to be a caterer for about 30 years. So that's on the docket as well. And then we have, every month we go out for dinner as a family, the kids and the spouses and us, and we find a new place. We went to Wheat Penny this past week. It was really interesting and different, and we really seem to enjoy it. Also, the Piqua Historic District had a plant sale. We sold mums at the Winans factory parking lot last Saturday, and that went pretty well. And then, of course, you and I were at the Friends of the Library meeting yesterday to discuss plans for the rest of this year and to start planning for next year. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So how about you?
Well, I'm not nearly as active as you are.
Well, we're going to fix that one of these days.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you know, but no, we've done some family things, had some family meals together, which is always nice. And you know, I do Bible study every Tuesday morning and work at Bethany as you do. You work on Fridays. I work on Thursdays. And
now I was in there. Do you call what you were doing work?
Well, yeah. I was. At least when you got there, most of the work was done.
Oh, so, that's why.
Yeah, we were just getting prepared, getting ready to serve. So anyway, but yeah, I'm not nearly as busy as you, but we had a good time at Fort Rowdy when we went there. That was a good time.
And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit.
Exactly. So I'm excited about that. But other than that, like I said, it's been beautiful weather, and we've spent a lot of time outdoors. We spent some time at your house one night outdoors, and you came to ours one evening.
And set out.
And set out. So yeah, it's been, the weather's been really nice. We could use some rain, but you know, we'll take what the good Lord gives us.
For those of you who don't know us very well, we've been friends almost since I graduated college, which was about 1969, 70.
70, yeah.
And that's when you came back from your college,
right.
And we were both involved in Piqua Players back then, and now since then we've traveled on various vacations.
All over,
because we don't say that wives turn off the TV. We were international card champions.
Yes, we were.
Because we played cards with them for every time we go on a trip, no matter what country we're in, we were winning. Then all of a sudden the tide turned, but we won't discuss that.
No, we won't.
Okay, so
it'll be okay. Yeah.
So let's talk birthdays.
Okay.
I've got one.
I don't have any this week.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And my birthday, you're going to know him. I'm going to tell you up front. It's Harry Connick Jr.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Harry Connick Jr. was born on September the 11th, and he was born in New Orleans. He's of course a jazz musician as well as lots of other kinds of music too. Plus, what I thought was interesting about Harry Connick Jr. was that during the pandemic, he decided, well, he stayed home, like most of us did, and he happened to have a recording studio in his house.
Wow.
You don't have
one. How convenient.
I don't have one, but he had one. So what he did was he wrote a whole set of music.
Nice.
And he recorded all the parts. He played all the instruments.
All the instruments, yeah.
He did the vocals. He did the whole album.
Wow.
It was a complete album that he produced, and it was released March 19th in 2021. So he sat home and worked himself to death, probably, because that's no easy task. Writing the music and putting out brand new songs on an album.
But if it's something you love to do, then it's not work.
Well, that's a whole lot better than sitting home doing nothing.
Doing nothing, that's for sure.
I'm good at that, though. At home doing nothing, I could do that too. But anyway, that was a good thing. He's also released some movies. He's on a Netflix film right now called Find Me Falling, and that was filmed in Cyprus. Now, the question for you.
Which I won't know the answer to.
He was born on September 11th. How old is he? I'll get the bell ready.
When was he born? What year?
Oh, I didn't say what year.
Darn. Okay, I would say he's probably 54.
You're very close. I'm not going to push the bell because you're that close.
Oh, okay.
He was born in 1967. And if you were to do the math, which I did earlier, he's 57.
Yeah.
So that you weren't too far off on that, and
well, good.
A really nice guy. I've enjoyed watching him. I've enjoyed listening to his music.
I love his music. Yeah,
it's just,
it's
you
very
don't love
good.
it though.
Well,
love people and
here we
animals.
go.
Only love people and animals. Music is a whole different ball game. So tell me what else is going on.
Jeez. Well, I have some events.
Okay.
What's happening? Okay, so this started September 6th. So, and then it goes through September 27th. It's the Piqua Fine Arts exhibit. And it's the 32nd annual Piqua Fine Arts exhibit. Artists representing from all over the state. This year's exhibits feature a maximum of 200 works of art across 6 different categories, including drawing, oil and acrylics, water, medium, photography, 3-dimensional, and miscellaneous works. So it's really a big show, and it's all at the Apple Tree Gallery. And the hours, let's see, it's the normal hours for the Apple Tree Gallery when they're open. So if you need any more information, you can go to the PiquaArtsCouncil.org, and I will have that up at the end.
And I've been there to a couple of those in the past that are really a good thing. They bring in a lot of beautiful artwork, some of which you can buy. So if any of you out there are interested in buying artwork.
You did a little bit of drawing, pencil drawing,
Well,
right?
I did, but it never got out of the basement. But it was fun.
No, it looks really good. That one piece you made was fantastic for my one grandson.
Well, yeah, I drew him.
I know, and you did a really good job.
Well, that's another day.
Yeah. Okay, so then, of course, there's the Cherry Street Farmers Market. We need to keep our farmers markets going, and remember the one here in Piqua also on Thursdays. They're going to end here shortly. The Cherry Street Farmers Market ends the 28th. So it's the 21st and the 28th, and then the Piqua one is on Thursdays. It's like I said, it's very important that we support our local farmers and growers. And then, of course, on the second Saturday vendor show at the Piqua Center, that's September 14th, 9 a.m. to 4. It's there again, just a good time. A lot of different things going on there. I think even a car show this time and all. And then this one, do you know what a Porch Fest is?
I kind of have an idea.
Oh, do you?
Yes, you travel from one porch to another, and different parts of the city have different kinds of activity, music and the like. Is that
That's
right?
it, absolutely. You got it. Good.
Well,
you don't get dinged. No, that's very good. Yeah, but Troy's having their, the Hainer Cultural Center is having their Porch Fest, and there's like 40+ bands in a hodgepodge of styles and genres playing throughout the Southwest Historic District on porches and in yards and lots of patios. So you can pick up a walkable map of the event and choose your favorite bands. And also they said have some dollar bills or something so that you can put your favorite band's, a dollar bill in your favorite band's cookie jar. So it sounds like it'll be loads of fun. And for more information, go to their website. We'll have that on at the end of the show. And then there's the, on September 14th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., it's the Bradford Railroad Heritage Festival. And it's, the adults, it's $10 per person. You can purchase tickets online or at the door. There's going to be a Little Mister and Little Miss contest. There's historic exhibits, Operation Lifesaver, Education Garden, N-scale model layouts, and some of those layouts can be pretty elaborate. And then a museum and tour exhibits. It just sounds like it's going to be fun with Thomas the Train. It's the trackless ride, but it's Thomas the Train. It's going to be there. Saturday scavenger hunt, hobo signs, railroad signaling, just a whole myriad of things that has to do with trains. So go there. It should be lots of fun.
I've got a secret about that.
What?
Next year we're going there.
Oh, that's cool.
The show, we're going to take the show to the Bradford Train Museum because there's so many cool things there.
Yeah, there is.
And I just learned that Bradford is both in Miami and Darke counties.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to stay in Miami County. So we'll be on.
So we'll be on the one side.
We'll be on the east side of the street.
Yeah.
But that's where the train museum
As if
is.
that matters.
It's on the east side of the street, so we're good.
Okay, that's good. All right, and then there's the Tip City Tunes Tour Beer Crawl. Now this, yeah.
You have to crawl.
You have to crawl, I guess. Or by the time you get to the end, maybe you're crawling. I don't know.
Probably.
But that's September 14th, 5 to 8 p.m. Music is downtown in the Tip City Tunes Tour Beer Crawl. Stroll through 10 different shops featuring the best in beer, ciders, and seltzers while enjoying a journey through music genres. So tickets are flying fast. There again, we'll have that. The website will be, we'll have that up at the end of the show. But it's basically, it's the downtowntipcity.org. And that'll let you know what's going on. But that sounds like it could be fun. And then there's the Great Miami Riverway Half Marathon. Now, Don, I know you're going to participate in this, right?
Well, I could participate in it if do they eat?
No.
They don't eat. Well, then a tour to donut would have been more.
I know. Mine too. But no, this is a marathon, and it's Miami County's Great Miami Riverway Half Marathon. It's September 15th, 6:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
6:30 a.m.
6:30 a.m.
Another reason why I won't be there.
Yeah. Well, it's a half marathon. So some people like me would probably end up walking most of it. So
how long is a marathon?
Okay, it starts in downtown Troy on Water Street in Troy. And you take the Troy roads to around Duke Park. And then you enter the bike path and you head north on Adams Street past the Eldine Covered Bridge.
Oh my.
And then you exit the bike path in Piqua and you run on city roads to the finish line near Crooked Handle Brewery. And so they have updated 24 maps so you can see the route and do all that. And there again, we've got the website on here that you can get the information. But you need to do it soon because it's like September 15th. That's this coming weekend. So yeah, but it looks like it's going to be and it benefits the Hope Scholarship, which is a really good scholarship. They've presented a total of 13 local high school seniors a charter scholarship totaling $14,000. So it's a really good benefit. Sounds like fun if you're into running. I'm not. My knees won't let me. So, but anyway, so that's the first part of the events. I have some more for later.
I want to reminisce. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Our last program, we took off and we went to Fletcher.
Oh, yeah.
And we saw the Fletcher Covered Bridge.
Covered Bridge, yep.
And I was really happy to see that. It's been a lot of years since I knew about that bridge. And when we did the story about the Covered Bridge in between Piqua and Troy, and I was let to know that there is another one, we were able to put that on the last program. And then we end up at your daughter's house, and she made I'll tell you what, part of the reason I'm this big is because I ate that whole pie she sent. She sent the one I stuck my finger in with meat to go home. And guess what? I ate the whole thing over the course of just a couple of days. It was delicious. For those of you who wrote in and asked for recipes, we'll get those to you. But I was impressed. Everybody said, "Oh, she's going to be so nervous," but she really did a good job.
She did a great job.
She kind of put me in my place. I'm not used to that. But
and I'll have she called us. She called us yesterday afternoon and said, "Do you care if we come over and I'll bring dinner?" And I said, "Okay." She made chicken pot pie. I know you don't like the chicken.
I saw the picture.
But did you see the picture?
Oh yeah.
I sent you a picture. She had puff pastry on the top, and she makes her own puff pastry. She doesn't buy it. Which
I've never known anybody else that could do that.
And oh my goodness,
personally,
was it good? That's part of the reason. Yes.
I would have eaten the crust, but I wouldn't have eaten the chicken, but that's okay. Next time she's doing that, I'll call her up and say, could you make that a beef pie?
A beef pie. Well, and she could, I'm sure.
I'm positive she could do that. Well, anyway, I want you all to know out there how much we're enjoying our program, and I'm hoping that you do too. And please let us know if there's anything that you would like us to talk about, because we have to go out and search for all these things, and sometimes we miss stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we just don't know that it's happening until it's too late.
Especially the events, because you know, you can go on websites and all that, but sometimes some of these events don't get on the websites. And you know, I try to find as many as I can, but it's hard. So if you've got something you want us to, you know, to promote and all that, let us know, and we will gladly do that. We'll gladly do that. So
that's a good thing. Well, you ready for some trivia?
Well, I guess.
No, I'm not going to force you into stuff. I'm just going to help. I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk.
Oh, really?
Well, you know, you remember when we talked about toothbrushes?
Yeah.
Do you remember who made the first toothbrushes?
No.
I don't either. But we talked about it. No, it was either China or Japan. They made the first toothbrushes.
Okay.
And I found out that when we talked about the invention of the toothbrush, that there is another part to that.
Oh.
The toothpaste.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the toothpaste has another name for it. You know, I use Crest and Colgate, whatever it is, whatever my wife feels is best for me that day. And so...
Or the least expensive.
Oh, the least, yeah, pretty much. And some of them I don't like the taste and it makes... and then some of them I really like. I want to eat them, but I don't. Anyway, I found out that there's a name for that other than what we call just plain old toothpaste.
I'll bet it's a gross name.
Nope, not too gross. It's called Nurdle.
Nurdle.
N-U-R-D-L-E, Nurdle. Now,
it's a weird name.
I know it's really weird. So here's my thing. All of you who have children, and when you tell them, go brush your teeth before you go to bed, this is your opportunity to teach them that they're using Nurdle, which is the toothpaste. And then they'll go to school and they'll talk about Nurdle, and the teacher will think they're talking bad or something. No, it'll be good, because they'll know something that nobody else knows. Because how many people know that the toothpaste is called Nurdle?
I would have never guessed that.
I wouldn't have either, but it was in the book and I know it's right. So anyway, that's one. Then the other one we talked about the other week was the Eiffel Tower. Yes. How it gets taller in the summer. Yeah. Well, there's more to that story. It's not about the height anymore. It's about where they put it. Do you know that the Eiffel Tower was built to be put in Spain? The Eiffel Tower was supposed to go to Spanish City. Yeah, well, they didn't like the way it looked and they didn't want it. So they said, no, we don't want this. So they called up France. And of course, you know, France takes anything that's free. And so
I'm not touching that.
They brought it to France. Then they weren't sure where to put it either, because they didn't think it was all that attractive.
Right.
But eventually they put it in Paris. And now it's one of the top attractions in the world.
Yep.
So the fact that it started out being refused in Spain and not sure where to put it in France, they eventually put it in a really good spot. I'm sorry they didn't bring it to the U.S., although they did, because we have one down in Kings Island.
I was just going to say, Kings Island's got one. And, well, Las Vegas has a small one, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, Las Vegas, that's a whole hotel, isn't it?
Well, it's part of the,
it's part of the hotel. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. But we also have some other trivia, because this one to me is the most interesting of all. Do you know that we had a president of the United States, and we're talking in our lifetime, who was not elected? And he was not only not elected, he wasn't a vice president that became a president, because the vice president's elected. This person was never elected, and he became president of the United States. You have any idea who that is? In our lifetime.
I don't know.
Well, I didn't know it either.
LBJ?
No. Oh, AJ thinks it's LBJ.
He got the
buzzer.
You're wrong, AJ. I was going to say, no.
I know who it is.
Gerald Ford.
Yeah,
Gerald
there
Ford.
you go.
See, what happened was Spiro Agnew
That's
was
right.
vice president.
Yeah.
And Spiro Agnew did some nasties.
Yeah.
And so he was asked to leave or he resigned. And so when he resigned, the president picked
Right.
Gerald Ford to be his vice president. And that was really cool.
So technically, he was a vice president.
He was vice president,
He just
but he
wasn't
wasn't
elected.
elected. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then guess what happened? His president, you know who that was? Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon. Oh yeah.
Richard Nixon resigned. And so guess where Gerald Ford ended up?
Yep.
In the Oval Office, having never been elected to vice presidency or the presidency. He's the only one in the whole history of the United States that became president of the United States with no election involved for him.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
He was president for 2 years, and then he had to run for president. Well, while he was president, they tried to assassinate him twice. Can you believe that? I mean, poor Gerald Ford sitting at home, not thinking anything too much, and all of a sudden, would you like to be vice president? Well, sure, I can be vice president.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Nixon's leaving. I guess I'm going to be president. And then after he's president, they tried to shoot him twice.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
That's super bad.
I would have gone back to the recliner, which is exactly what he did because
Yes.
he didn't win the election.
No, he didn't.
You know who he ran against? Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter, yeah.
And Jimmy Carter won the election. But it's interesting because Jimmy Carter is still around with us after all these years.
He's like 90,
A bunch.
98,
Could
something
be.
like
Around
that. I don't
almost
know.
100 years old.
Yeah, he's up there.
And
really.
you know, it's really interesting because I think he was a really nice guy. Really nice guy. I won't say he was the best president we ever had, but he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
And so he won the election and got to be president of the United States. And of course, the first thing he did was eliminate all alcohol from the White House, which probably didn't go over real well with a lot of the other dignitaries that like to go have dinner at the White House and have a nice glass of wine. Yeah. But that's just how that happened. I got one more thing. You know, yesterday was the presidential debate between Kamala and Donald. And, you know, no matter what your party is, no matter where you feel your vote should go, it's a historic thing. When two candidates come together to debate, I think it's a really neat thing.
It is.
And so I watched every word because I just think it's interesting, number one. And number two, that helps me make a decision oftentimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you know when the first debate was ever for president? Well, you know, Tricky Dick Nixon.
Oh, yeah.
He was a pretty busy guy because he and John Kennedy had the very first debate ever for president of the United States. They did that on September the 26th, down in 1960. Wow. That was the first ever presidential debate. Personally, I'm really happy that we have presidential debates.
Oh, me too.
I think it does help us to make decisions. We saw what happened at the last debate, which made a change, and you just never know what's going to come forth next.
You don't always get the truth.
No.
During the debates, but it's good to have it because that's what we need is more dialogue.
Right, and then you just get to see both in action, and you get to see how they handle questions, and you get to see all the stuff that
How
to
they
me
react. Yep.
is important
Yep.
in a position like that, because a president, once they are president, whoever it is, they're going to have stuff come up all the time that they have to deal with.
All the time.
And may not be planning on. So that's a really good thing. So now we are done with all that good stuff that we always do, and we're just about out of time. So what we're going to do now is talk to you a little bit about the fact. Why don't you reiterate how they can watch us in the future?
Okay, so we're on Channel 5 at 6, and our next program will be September 25th. No.
Yes, that's
Yes,
correct.
I'm sorry, September 25th. And we'll be on Channel 5 at 6 and on YouTube after that. And remember, it's the second and fourth Wednesdays of each month.
And you know what's going to happen at the next one? We're taping the whole thing away from here.
Yes.
We're going to be at the Miami County Courthouse. And the reason we're going down there is because they're doing a complete interior renovation. and we're going to be first to get to see the renovations.
Yes.
And one of the county commissioners, Wade Westfall, is going to be with us
Yep.
to talk about that whole thing. So that's going to be a really cool thing. Now you've got a few more activities to talk about, though.
Oh, yes. Third Thursdays in West Milton. That's coming up, and it's September 19th, or I'm sorry, September 19th. That's from 5 to 8, and it's downtown West Milton. So this will be the last one, I believe. So go there and have some fun. And then there's a sip and shop artisan market. And this is in Bradford, or right outside of Bradford, 9717 Horatio Harris Creek Road. And it's 21 Barrels Winery and Cidery. It's 21 Barrels is excited to announce the 3rd annual Sip and Shop Artisan Market on September 19th. And this is an outdoor and a family-friendly event where you can sip cider or wine while eating fresh local food and shopping unique custom locally made goods from real local artisans. So it should be a lot of fun. Have a good time and come out there, and there'll be music and all kinds of things. And this is an outdoor event. So in the event of inclement weather, they have an alternative date of September 26th. So, but that sounds like a good time. I know when we lived in down in Tennessee, there was a winery out in there that did this sort of thing, and it was a blast. It was always fun. So then we have something that's historically important, I think. It's the Waco Celebration and Fly-In. That's September 20th through September 22nd. And for those who don't know, the Waco airplane, it's a biplane. It's a beautiful plane, it really is. But they were made right here in Miami County in Troy. And these aircraft, they have a fly-in. All the people who own them, I guess there's quite a few of them out there still. They're vintage aircraft at its finest. They you can tour the Waco Air Museum and enjoy great food and take a ride in an open cockpit airplane or biplane, which that would be a real blast. That would be a lot of fun. I have the website will be coming up, but more information, 937-335-9226 or the wacoairmuseum.org to get more information. That should be a good time, especially if you like flying. And then there's a live podcast recording and tasting with YouTubers, Bourbon and Balls and Cask 529. I don't know where people come up with these names, but wow. It'll be at the Mayflower, the A.M. Scott Distillery. The YouTubers Bourbon and Balls and Cask 529 will be taking the theater stage, and it's doing a live streaming and tasting with everyone. You can, tickets earn you a live viewing of the podcast, a tasting of 3 bourbons by A.M. Scott. And also there'll be some little hors d'oeuvres and that type thing. So again, we'll have the information after the show. It'll be scrolling. And then there's an event that you and I are going to be going to with our wives at the Arbogast Performing Arts Center. It's called Brit Beat at APAC, which is, it's a Beatles band that's, it should be a lot of fun. If you like the Beatles music, they do a tribute, it's a tribute experience of the Beatles, and I'm sure they're gonna play a lot of different things. So that's at the APAC Theater, September 21st at 7. So we'll have the information at the end of the thing, but do try to go. It's a lot of fun. There should be maybe some tickets left, although it's pretty popular. And then we all know what's coming up on September 27th, or most people do, is a football game. But it's not just a football game. It's the Piqua versus Troy football game. But before that, there's a guest speaker series featuring author David Fogg about Ohio's Troy versus Piqua football rivalry. It's at the Mayflower. There again, it's September 24th at 6:30, and he'll discuss the long-standing rivalry between these two schools. Do you know when that started?
Long before I was born.
1899. Can you believe that?
Oldest in the state.
Oldest in the state, and it's really it should be amazing to hear some of the history. And of course, we all know it's a big rivalry. And then of course, the game is at Alexander Stadium on September 27th at 7 p.m.
And you can watch it right here on the Indian Nation
And
Station.
you can watch it right here on the Indian Nation Station. So yes, that'll be a fun time. But that's, like I said, at 6:30 on September 24th at the Mayflower. For more information, we'll have that posted up there. You can call Mayflower and get all the info for that. And then this one I thought was very interesting because you're going to see a little bit of this when we go to Fort Rowdy. The Quad State Southern Ohio Forge and Anvil competition. So this is where blacksmiths get together and they do their thing. And it's a Quad State is the word, incredible. Fairgrounds, competition, demonstration, food, fun, family, all packed into 3 extraordinary days and the perfect fall weather. No wonder blacksmiths from around the globe make this a must-attend event year after year. So there'll be a lot of people there from the Southern Ohio Forge and Anvil, and it's just going to be very interesting because I find blacksmithing extremely interesting. It's you take a piece of iron that doesn't look like anything, and all of a sudden you make it look fantastic or into a piece of art. So that should be a lot of fun. Again, that's September 27th through September 29th, and it's at the Miami County Fairgrounds. So go, it'll be fun. And that's it.
Okay, you know, there's one thing I forgot.
Oh no,
I took a hot air. Yes, I took a hot air balloon ride, and I was
right,
really excited about that because Tom Lillicrap invited me to be in his gondola, and we went over the city of Piqua. And there's a little quick, brief video that I took, or actually Tom took of me while we were up there, and a couple of really neat pictures. And so AJ's going to put those on too.
Oh, good.
But we have to talk about Fort Rowdy because we were there, and
oh, that was fun.
We saved the best for last because this is where you're going to see what we all did at Fort Rowdy. But you, AJ, and I went over to Covington. We had a great time.
Yep.
There was really good music. The washboard guy was really good. Yeah. I was impressed. and the bluegrass music, and there was food and history and all kinds of stuff. We drank ourselves. You ate brought.
Yeah,
it was really a good thing. So we're going to go right now to the taping of the time that we had over at Fort Rowdy. I think it's a big secret that a lot of people aren't aware of. I was not until I crossed that bridge over there and I went back in time to an amazing place. And it was,
we had some wonderful people.
Oh,
too.
They were so nice. The one guy was all dressed in period clothes, and he goes, "I'm the Walmart of, what was it, 1796 or something." It was just real interesting. So we're going to go now to that video, and we'll see you at the next program. Hello, we are at Fort Rowdy in Covington, Ohio, and we're really excited. I've never been to Fort Rowdy in the past, and I'm really looking forward to this. But Bill used to live in Covington, so he's got the whole story. So Bill, you tell us what's going on.
Okay, well, I don't know if I've got the whole story, but I do have some history of this. Fort Rowdy was a fort that was built here in Covington, or around Covington, in 1793. It was built by Mad Anthony Wayne during the Indian Wars, and it remained a fort here in Covington until the signing of the Greenville Treaty, which ended the Indian Wars. So then the fort was disassembled and all that. But the history of Fort Rowdy here in Covington is that in 1993, which I thought was kind of ironic since 1793 is when the fort was built, they started a festival here in 1993. And it's to celebrate Fort Rowdy and what it stood for. And it's really, really interesting because they have on one side of the river modern day stuff and vendors and all that. But across the Stillwater River, across the bridge, you have a setting that reminds everyone of what it was like in the late 1700s and early 1800s. It's a trading village, trading camp. They do everything by fire, and it's just really a fun time to go see. And so we're going to go across the bridge and take a look at some of this stuff.
Here we go. Let's hit it.
Yeah, let's hit it. This is great.
I'm excited because I've never done this. You know what? I never realized there was a across the river part of the park.
Yeah, well,
I've been down
sometimes it's a little tricky because, you know, the Stillwater River does flood every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been in this park, I don't know how many times, but I've never realized that you could come across like this.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's
cool.
It's really nice. Stillwater River is really a cool.
And we're going back to
cool
what
little
year?
River. Yeah.
What year are we going back to?
Oh, late 1700s and early 1800s.
Okay, well that's kind of exciting.
Yep, so we're gonna
keep on and going.
Have a good time.
You know what, there's a long bridge.
It is a long bridge.
My coins though.
Oh, well, they'll take paper money, I'm sure.
Oh, they're not allowed because it's 1800.
Well, they probably wouldn't take your coins either.
That's probably true.
Oh, goodness.
Well, that's really cool.
All right, so here we go.
Maumee Valley Corridor Heritage.
Here's the path.
Is that real?
Is that real root beer?
They're custom made 2 days ago.
2 days ago?
2 days ago.
No, we picked it up 2 days ago.
I picked it up Friday morning, and they made it the day prior.
Oh,
okay. Brewery, we're from Bowling Green, Ohio, up near Toledo.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's called Brewing Green.
Really?
What? I mean, there's only they were smart, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Said, oh yeah, did you guys buy this? No, we make it. And the guy came out with a mask on. I said, what's he doing? Oh, he's grinding hops. They make beer, root beer.
Root beer.
So I looked up root beer and said, how old is that? Well, they invented it not too long ago, except for a long time ago. It was made from roots. It was a tea. You could make.
Oh, like sassafras?
Sassafras roots, yeah.
The bark on sassafras roots.
Yes, I like that.
Roots.
But it's
well,
not
in the
healthy
60s, they
now.
found out that it's
Not healthy.
slightly carcinogen. Like
Yeah.
slightly cancer? What does that mean? Slightly cancer?
Slightly.
So they said stop that, so they made a substitute.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want one?
Sure.
Okay.
You get almost
I'll pay
22
for
ounces
it.
here, and then
We need 3 of the $3 ones.
he said yes.
We're going to have a toast. We're toasting 1890 something or other.
Late 1700s, early 1800s.
Okay.
General Miami County.
Root beer. Homemade, he says.
Well, Bowling Green made. Who's home, right?
Yeah. Right.
Brewing Green in near Toledo.
Brewing.
Well,
Yeah.
we've got a place in Piqua that claims they brew their root beer. The root beer stand in Piqua.
You can brew it. I said, you guys buy this?
With our root beer, we wandered right over here to this gentleman. What's your name?
Dustin Baker.
Dustin Baker. Okay.
And Dustin, where'd you come from?
I am from Tip City.
Tip City.
Ah,
well,
very
that's
good.
not too far away. That's a good thing. So, is this considered blacksmith work?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So tell us about it. What you doing?
I am just making an S-hook right now. S-hook's basically just to hang something over a spit or a fire.
Oh, okay.
You know, like you want to hang a coffee pot or something for it, or ladies will hang flower pots.
That's what I was thinking. Yep.
So that's what I'm working on. I'm just heating the metal up, using a coal forge. When I turn this crank, it makes the fire get hotter. Puts the air in the bottom.
Okay.
Makes it get a little hotter.
So I've got a friend who has a blacksmith shop out in the country, and he has the big fireplace, and they have to use billows all the time.
Okay.
So this is a lot better. Easier.
Yeah, kinda.
Easier.
Yeah, it's a little easier.
When did this come to be?
I would say, if I had to guess, and I don't know for a fact, but I'm going to say somewhere around the late 1700s to early 1800s.
Oh, about the time of Fort Rowdy.
About the time
so
Fort Rowdy, yeah.
And definitely in 1900s, they were really, this setup was really good.
It's got to be way better than the billows and the big fireplace, but it's
so
interesting.
how long have you been doing blacksmithing?
I'm going to say like around maybe 23 or 24 years.
Oh wow, that's you're well experienced.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot.
You don't look a whole lot older than that.
So I know on this, now I've watched some of the blacksmithing shows and all that.
Right.
So I know you have to be careful with this because you can actually burn the metal up.
Yeah, you can. If you leave a piece of metal, especially something this small in there, it'll melt into nothing. I mean, it'll melt right now. It gets well over 2,000 degrees in the center of the fire, so you could actually take a piece of 1-inch solid steel, and if you crank this enough, it would melt it right now.
Melt it right, wow.
Yep, it'll just drip just like butter.
Yeah. What's melting point of steel?
I'm not exactly sure.
2,000 and something.
It's in the 2,200.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
wow.
2,000.
So, what's your name?
My name's Dawn Lohman.
Dawn Lohman, and you're selling blankets and
Bajas.
yeah, beautiful blankets. And I found one that I know my wife's going to really like. So I am definitely going to get this blanket. So, so how long have you been coming here and doing this sort of thing?
I've been coming to this one for 27 years. I've been doing them for 30 altogether.
Oh, wow.
This is my last year.
Is it? You're done? You're tired?
And where are you coming from?
Over towards Springfield. It's in a little town called Northampton.
Oh
yeah, Northampton.
The Spring Trap.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say that, but I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah, it's true.
It is true.
Bill, get your money out.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, you have to pay.
Well, I know that. My goodness.
It's Bill's turn to pay for everything. You pay for everything at the fair, right?
Yeah. Explain this to me, 'cause I don't understand.
Well, it's kind of cool. It's, they build the fire, and then these metal strips flip over, and then they can put pots or whatever right over the fire.
Yep.
And that's nice. And they also have ways to hang pots over the fire, and you can cook all kinds of good stuff on fires.
Because you're good at good stuff like this.
Yes, yeah, that's really good. You can cook just about anything, really.
So what are you going to cook?
Earlier we made biscuits in the Dutch oven. We put the biscuits in there. Flipped over and we're making those.
Good. Biscuits, okay.
Biscuits. As of right now, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on. You haven't been informed.
I tell you what, the Dutch ovens are fantastic for this kind of cooking. We had a friend who would make a cobbler in one. He'd use, Bisquick and that kind of stuff, and then use charcoal. And it just is amazing what you can do. You can bake anything you want in there.
That's my oven. I'm making that.
Okay.
And they put them out in trade blanket, they'd sell it, or trade it to get things they needed.
There you go.
And so we do the same thing today.
Yep.
We aren't a store or nothing. If I make enough money for the weekend to cover my gas and my food, I'm happy.
There you go.
But any of the items you have out there for sale or for trade, or if, it's kind of like a garage sale.
Come this way.
But if you got any questions about anything, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions if you're just interested in what the heck something is,
Yeah. You guys got any questions about beef?
Well, we've had a good day here at Fort Rowdy, and it's been a lot of fun, and we've met a lot of wonderful people, nice people, and we're going to wrap it up now. And
well, I'm Don Smith,
and I'm Bill Cartwright,
and what's happening
in Miami County?